What's up, guys? It is IRGT85. Happy Wednesday. Obviously, the big news of yesterday was the Nintendo Switch OLED announcement, and thank you guys so much. We actually hit gaming trending on YouTube for that video, which was just absolutely amazing to see. YouTube themselves even commented on the video, and I was just like, thanks, boss. Like, I mean, they are kind of my boss. They pay my bills. But since then, we have learned a lot about the Nintendo Switch OLED that I did not cover in my initial video, which that video actually has a very funny backstory to how it even came to be. So stick around to the end of the video if you'd like to hear my weird stories, and we'll talk about how this video even came to be. But since then, like I said, we've learned a lot more about this system, and there's actually something else I want to talk about that's going on in the world of video games with the State of Play event. So we're going to talk a little bit about the State of Play event. We're going to talk more about the Nintendo Switch OLED, and I'm actually going to share my thoughts on what I think about this system. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like and share the video. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So obviously, with Sony not being at E3, many people were anticipating that a State of Play event would happen in the month of July. There was lots of rumors about it, and then yesterday Sony actually confirmed that yes, we are getting a State of Play event, and this will be happening tomorrow on July 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So what's this State of Play event going to be about? Well, that's kind of where one of the things I have a problem with this whole State of Play event is the fact that this is actually going to be sort of a Deathloop showcase. Now, if you haven't been following Deathloop, this game was actually already supposed to be out. It is a PS5 exclusive that is being done by Bethesda, that of course was done before the whole Bethesda and Microsoft merger, and 9 minutes of this presentation will be focused on Deathloop. And I don't think Deathloop's necessarily going to be a bad game or anything. It's just a game that we've seen so many times. Like, I have seen this game so many times. I feel like I've already played the game, and yes, the whole mechanic of it with having to get through the level perfectly and rewind time is a pretty cool mechanic, but I don't know, I just feel like I've seen enough of this game to decide whether or not I want to purchase it or not. So yeah, Deathloop will be the showcase piece with this event, but there is going to be some other stuff at this event as well. There's going to be some updates on some indie titles for the PlayStation 5 and some third-party titles as well. The show is going to be about a 30-minute show, so about 1/3 of it is going to be about Deathloop, and then the other 20 minutes is going to be other PlayStation projects. I hope we see some Saifu, I still don't know how to say it, and Kina and Kenna, you know, I don't know how to say these names, but Kina/Kenna, Saifu/Sifu, these games actually look really cool to me. I want to learn more about Saifu, because of the fact that I feel like we just have seen a little bit from this game. It looks like something that I might actually enjoy playing, so hopefully that's going to be at this event. And Sony actually went out of their way to say what's not going to be at this event. They said the showcase will not include updates on the next God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, or the next generation of PlayStation VR. Now, I think that's very interesting. It does help with keeping your expectations in line from what to expect from this State of Play event. Obviously, if Deathloop is going to be sort of the crown jewel of this and you're not interested in Deathloop, there's no sort of point in bashing this event when you already know what's going to be. But I find it kind of curious that Horizon Forbidden West, as any sort of updates on this game, aren't going to be there, and God of War, because God of War is obviously a 2022 game. That game's already been delayed, but there's been a lot of mystery about Horizon Forbidden West as to whether or not it's actually going to hit that 2021 deadline. This is supposed to be the big showpiece for Sony and the PlayStation 5, and I guess to some extent the PlayStation 4, when it comes out this holiday season. But is it actually going to come out this holiday season? I do feel like we're sort of getting down to the wire of when this will get a release date. I'm hopeful that this game does come out for the PlayStation 5 this year, because if we don't have that game, I guess Deathloop's going to be the big game, and I don't know, that's not really a big game that I'm interested in. But yes, there will be a State of Play event. What do you hope to see at this event? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I'm sure somebody timestamped this video to where I start to talk about the Nintendo Switch OLED in the comments section. Thank you for that. I do like to sort of bring you guys information on PS5 and Xbox Series X stuff, because I mean, I play all these platforms. I just, you know, seem to talk mostly about Nintendo stuff because that's what you guys like. But obviously, the big announcement from yesterday was the Nintendo Switch OLED. This fabled Nintendo Switch revision actually came to fruition. We learned all about this system very briefly, like I said in my video, and then since then we have learned a lot of subsequent things about this system. So I sort of want to give you guys an update as to what we have learned from it and actually what I think about the system itself. So in case you missed my video from yesterday, the Nintendo Switch OLED is a new Nintendo Switch model that is coming to the market on October 8th. This will have a 7-inch OLED screen on it, which is of course what Bloomberg had been reporting, and the screen itself looks absolutely gorgeous. I think this screen is going to surprise a lot of people with just how good it looks. This also has a better kickstand. There's going to be an Ethernet cable port on the Nintendo Switch dock itself for this system, but one of the main things that people were wondering is, all right, well, Bloomberg said that we were going to get a 7-inch OLED screen. Well, where's the other half of that speculation? Where's the other half of that report with the 4K stuff? And Nintendo didn't say anything about 4K stuff or any sort of improvements when it comes to playing it in docked mode, beyond, of course, just having the Ethernet cable. Well, Nintendo actually put out a statement yesterday saying that the Nintendo Switch OLED does not have a new CPU or more RAM from previous Nintendo Switch models. So that pretty much puts a damper on the whole 4K situation. Now, technically, the chip that's in the Nintendo Switch is capable of 4K. The Tegra X1 chip can do 4K as seen on things like the NVIDIA Shield. But obviously, if this was going to be a 4K compatible system, I believe Nintendo would have said that. Like, this is something that's obviously would be very big for them. So I don't think you would do this little trailer and little presentation and then not include that in it. I did think it was weird how much sort of docked footage that they showed when really the focus of the Nintendo Switch OLED is for handheld mode in that trailer that they released yesterday. And there was something that was kind of interesting on the Nintendo Switch website for the Nintendo Switch OLED when it comes to comparisons between the standard Switch, the Nintendo Switch Lite, and the Nintendo Switch OLED, that says the Nintendo Switch OLED model is compatible with the full library of Nintendo Switch games. However, the system will not cleanly fit with all the design parameters of the Nintendo Labo series, RIP Labo. There may also be games where the game experience may differ due to the new capabilities of the console, such as a larger screen. So with that statement, a lot of people are like, well, wait a minute now, maybe there is going to be some sort of enhancements. I really don't think there's going to be any sort of enhancements, especially when you're playing it in dock mode. Obviously, things are going to look a lot crisper on the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode with this OLED model, but as far as any sort of enhancements when playing it in docked mode, I just don't think they're going to be there, because Nintendo would have said that themselves, as this would have been a selling point for this system that comes out on October 8th that will be retailing for $350, which is the highest price point we have seen for a Nintendo system since the Wii U Deluxe bundle, which I bought that on day one because I liked the way it looked. Moving on, we learned a couple smaller details as well, such as the Joy-Cons for the system. Many people were hoping for improved Joy-Cons. Well, too bad, you're not getting improved Joy-Cons. These will be the exact same Joy-Cons that are available on your current Nintendo Switch, which obviously, you know, Joy-Con drift is a real thing. I've gone through several sets of Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons to the point of where I hardly use them anymore because I do not like Joy-Con drift. So yes, if you were hoping that there was going to be improved Joy-Cons with this system, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Also, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch OLED dock itself, obviously this has an Ethernet cable on it, so there were some questions as to whether or not this was going to be compatible with the current Nintendo Switch on the marketplace, and it actually is. Yes, the dock itself looks a little bit different. It does have that Ethernet port on it, but as far as functionality is concerned, it looks like it'll function the exact same way as the current Nintendo Switch dock does, just with an Ethernet port on it. Nintendo will actually be selling this upgraded, or I guess not really upgraded, more of a revised dock on their online store should you choose to want to do one. This will not be available at retailers, just through their online store. So if you just want to buy the revised Nintendo Switch dock that has the Ethernet port on it, you can simply do that through Nintendo's website without having to buy the system itself. But obviously, when you look at the Nintendo Switch OLED system, there's one thing that's very, very clear about this. This is designed with handheld players in mind, and a lot of people are questioning as to why Nintendo went that route, especially when you have something like the Nintendo Switch Lite already on the marketplace. Like, that's obviously designed for handheld players. The standard Nintendo Switch is sort of that middle ground, so people were hoping that this system was going to be more geared and more catered towards, of course, the premium sort of side of video game spending, and of course the docked mode stuff. What happened to the 4K stuff that we heard about in that Bloomberg report? I mean, I don't know. I guess you would have to ask Mochizuki. Now, there has been some rumors about this, that this isn't the only revision that we're going to see from Nintendo in the near future. There's been some people saying online that 2022, there could be potentially another Nintendo Switch revision, because a lot of people are starting to double down. I believe even Digital Foundry doubled down on the whole 4K Nintendo Switch model thing, which is a very interesting video. They put up a video yesterday. Make sure you guys go check that out if you're interested in the more technical side of stuff when it comes to Digital Foundry, because I mean, that's what they do. But as far as what I feel about this system, I am someone who plays a lot in handheld mode, so I will be buying this system. I mean, I was gonna buy this system anyways. Obviously, I want to get it in my hands and talk about it with you guys. But just as a consumer, I am interested in this system because I do play a lot in handheld mode. But if I didn't play a lot in handheld mode, it's kind of like, what's the point of this revision? You know, obviously Nintendo is trying something a bit different with this, but honestly, I do wish that they would have sort of catered more to the dock side of things as well, because I feel like that's where the improvements need to be made. Like, yes, a sharper screen is going to be nice, but if the games themselves still have struggling issues when it comes to performance, like, is it going to be all that much better? Like, wow, the game looks better while still struggling with performance with games like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which I mean is a first-party Nintendo game. So I will be picking this up on day one. Obviously, I do want this in my hands, and I will enjoy this new OLED screen, but I do feel like Nintendo could have done more with this. I hope that the rumors, which we aren't going to talk about at least anytime soon because it's way too soon to talk about another Nintendo Switch revision, but I do hope those rumors do come to fruition. You gotta remember, there was a million different revisions to the Nintendo DS, there was a million different revisions to the 3DS as well, and Nintendo obviously is treating this sort of like a handheld. So if they are treating this like a handheld, I expect there to be more revisions down the road. Overall, I think it's solid. If you don't have a Nintendo Switch, this is definitely the model you will want to get. If you already own a Nintendo Switch and you don't play your Switch in handheld mode, it's pretty pointless to you, but I mean, I guess you could always trade in your Nintendo Switch or sell it if you want to pick up this new OLED model. But let me know in the comment section down below. I know there's been a lot of debate and controversy over this system, but where are you sort of leaning towards this? Do you want to get this revised model, or are you cool with your standard Nintendo Switch, or do you not own a Nintendo Switch? And then I'm just kind of like, why are you watching this part of the video? Alrighty, so that is going to do it for today's video, but before we go, I do want to thank you guys once again for helping that video get on YouTube Gaming Trending. It was absolutely insane to see that, and like I said, the whole story of how that video came to fruition was very bizarre. So it was my birthday celebration, and my mom came up into town, and she bought me like this big-ass bag of Starburst candies, and for some reason, I decided to eat like 3/4 of the bag the night before, so I guess it was Monday night, and Tuesday morning, I woke up at like 8 o'clock, and my stomach was just so messed up. Like, I had diarrhea. Like, I literally had diarrhea like 3 times that morning, and I was just so miserable. So it was like 9 o'clock. I was finally done. I was finally feeling better, and I was about to lay down again, and then like my phone just started blowing up, and I was like, what the hell's going on? So I look at my phone, and all these people are like, yo, new Switch OLED, and I was like, yo, I gotta make a video on this. So it was a circumstance of just like perfect timing with that situation. So I guess I have to give a thank you to Starburst as well, because if your candies didn't mess up my stomach and give me diarrhea, I wouldn't have been so quick to the jump with that video. But let me know what you think of everything in the comments section down below. Are you looking forward to the State of Play event, or are you sort of tired of Deathloop and these new details on the Nintendo Switch OLED? Does it sway you one way or the other? Now, OLED technology is very impressive. Yes, it's sort of older, but I really think it's going to make a big deal in handheld mode. But if you're not a handheld gamer, then I don't think this is going to be a big deal to you. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Thank you to all the new subscribers as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out other videos on the channel as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.